All right, guys, welcome back. My name's Tim Gornert, and this is another segment for digital inking. Today's class, I'm going to be doing clothing. See how that looks with some shading on the actual clothing. So here we have this is a piece I believe is from Ivan Reis, and this is I think panel from one of his comic books. But we're not going to do the whole thing. We're just going to probably do this arm here and maybe his hand and some other articles of the clothing here, just to give you an idea of what that looks like and how to attack it, you know? Okay, so let's just jump in, see what we got here, and let's see where it takes us. So again, I'll start with my pan. And it's going to go here. I'm going to fix it. There we go. And I think the next episode, I'm going to do how to make your own brush. And then I'll give you some insight how to do it. Okay, so let's just jump in. See, the fun thing about clothing, you know, it's super organic and super forgiving. You know what I mean? Because there's folds, there's some dark parts, there's some shadows. It's not like you're drawing a building, right? Maybe a little bit of cross hatching up here just to give it some depth. I don't know if you can see it, but you can see some parts are a little bit more faded. Usually, that's the thing, right? Because I'm working with like a low resolution image, and I'm outputting at a high resolution. Now, if you're not familiar with digital terms like that, if you want to start getting to digital inking, you might want to take a couple, even go online classes or whatever, and understand, how high resolution works in terms of printing, because the images you find off of Google or something like that, a lot of them are optimized for the internet, right? So they don't have to be these big high res things, because people are just flipping through it because it's your screen that's translating basically the image, right? Now, if you were to print something off the internet at the right size, like say for example you find like an image on Google of Spider-Man and it's 72 DPI, it means dot per inch. That means how many pixels or dots are in that image. So it's abbreviated, but so what'll happen is if you try to blow it up or make it bigger than the actual image, what's going to happen is when you print, it's going to get all washed out and blurry, kind of like what you see here. Oops, let me turn that off just to show you what's going on. Okay, so when you zoom out like this, it's not so bad. Because I already blew the image up at 400 DPI. So when I'm inking, my inking will output to, as you can see, like if you look closely here, okay, my inking is pretty tight, but the images are all kind of like the pencils, so to speak, behind it are kind of washed out. That's because I blew it up, and because it wasn't saved or saved as at a higher resolution or scanned at a higher resolution. This is one of the things that I have to deal with, especially if you're a practicing inker, a digital inker for that matter. So let's see what we got here. Hope that makes sense in some weird way. Again, because if I were to draw it at 72 DPI, the print quality, I mean, it'd be okay for like the internet kind of thing. If I were just like post a smaller version on my website or like Facebook or something, or Instagram, it's okay then, because it's only being viewed at that level. Whereas if you're going to print it, I wouldn't recommend it because what's gonna happen is that it will blur out and your print quality will look like crap. So that's something to consider and think about. Okay. And a lot of times too, because these images are washed out, I gotta use my art background and try to interpret what's going on. Sometimes you're gonna have to zoom out too. You can see this here. Fill that all in for now. Again, we can always go back and look at what we've done later on. See if we have to adjust. I'll zoom out a little bit so you guys can see a little better. And you see how like right here we got like a fold. And then whoop. And then but there's like highlights too on it, right? See how it starts to darken and gets lighter? Well, you don't want to lose that because that's going to create the illusion of the fold and the light hitting on it, basically. Let's see what this looks like over here. It's all dark, so I'll just make it easier on myself. I don't know why I just did that. I see. Hold on a second. I'm a bit of a tool because what I did was I didn't create my other layer to go over it. Now I feel like a moron. Let's see if this is going to work. If I go select color range, see what happens here. Maybe I'm gonna get lucky. If I go Control C, go back up here, history. Just gotta fix something here. Over here, it says. Edit. Paste. Place. Did it work? Did it work? Look at that. It almost worked. Perfect. Okay, so we're good. So I'm just gonna go back up here, create my other layer. Go here. I thought I lost everything, but we're good. Okay, so all right, so let's go back in here now. Remember, you got to rotate sometimes. Your pen. Basically, now we're just kind of following the lines of the penciler. Again, I was saying before, it's pretty organic, so I mean, it's kind of hard to muck it up. It can happen, but you don't want to over render it either. But if you stay true to the penciler's original lines, I think you'll be okay. Let's get up here. Again, like I said, I'm not going to do the whole piece, obviously, but here. There we go. So when you look at it this close, like, what is all this stuff, man? We'll go back and take a look at what we've done just as soon as I also, when you're trying to get these little details in there too, it all comes down to your pressure sensitivity too, and then you want to be able to taper it. You can be, go a little sketchy with it if you want. See all these lines all happening there. Creases. See what this looks like too. I think that's the cufflink right there. Especially when you look at it really close like this too, it's like, oh, it looks messy, it looks dirty. But again, these are blowing up and then they get shrunk again. So it'll end up tightening everything up even more. I don't know if you've ever seen like Todd McFarlane ink. He just goes into these crazy hyper details. But you know what? It tightens everything up and it just makes everything look like this crazy, crazy, chaotic, beautiful poetry, so to speak. But it all depends on your style too, I guess. Now, is that the decision I want to make right here? But we'll see what that looks like. Now, this is all dark in here. But when you look at it all close like this, it's all these like weird lines and everything. And you can see close in here, there's like kind of variants of darknesses, right? Just to try to give it more texture. So what I'm going to do probably is and then just go with a very fine tip to try to create like a value kind of thing, because that'll create like texture. Yeah. All right, it's starting to take shape here, folks. So what I'm going to do now here is just kind of fine tune it. And then we're going to straighten this out. And now for the moment of truth. Let's see what that looks like. All right, let's see what it looks like. Boom. Well, it looks like an arm. Or part of a jacket. I'll finish this up and we'll call it a night. So turn it around. There we go. Big lines for the go. That's looking good. I like that. I kind of see the way I crosshatch there. So you're building kind of layers on it. So you start off with your broad strokes to thinner strokes, and then you go in a different direction and start working with those strokes. And you can go smaller, but make sure you go wider, and that creates like this cool little pattern, so to speak. Not a pattern, but like a shape. And that's ultimately what you're trying to do. All right. Just a little bit of darkness in there. I don't know if you can see that or not. Same thing in here. Some more highlights in there. And then there's some more light grays in there. So we'll try to build upon that. All right, cool. Let's see what that looks like. Let's zoom out. What do you think, guys? Da-da-da-da. And let's see what it looks like on the white there. So I think that works out pretty cool, I think. And it gives you an idea. See how I built like some of the depth here from the darks to the lights. And then obviously the colorists will come in and then they'll add their values on top of it. So with the pencils and then with the inking and the coloring, you're gonna have this amazing collaboration between all these different departments focusing on one thing, on making a great product. And when you get three guys that know what they're doing, the penciler, the inker, and the colorist, obviously the writer too, and the letterer. There's a comic books is a group effort. You get some amazing things. So I hope this gave you some insight. I hope this helped a little bit. My name's Tim Corner with How to Draw Comics, and thanks a lot for watching. Be safe, and we'll see you next time. Take care.